All right, welcome back to The Explainer. You ever scroll online and just see something that makes you stop and go, wait, why are people doing that? Well, today we're going to dive into one of those exact mysteries, and it turns out it has this wild connection to one of the biggest puzzles in artificial intelligence.
Okay, so let's get right into it. There's this trend going viral, right? You see videos of people, mainly in these workshops along the Thai border, and they're taking 10 baht coins and just breaking them apart. They hammer out that little circle in the middle and toss the outer ring. And the whole point? They want to melt down that shiny inner piece to make jewelry.
So, the myth, the rumor that's driving this whole thing is that the center of the coin is actually gold or some kind of super valuable brass. But here's the thing. According to the Thai Royal Mint, that's just not true. Not even close. The center is made of aluminum bronze, which, yeah, it's shiny, but it's nowhere near valuable enough to go to all this trouble. Honestly, it'd be way cheaper to just go buy raw bronze.
So, get this. Not only is the whole gold thing a myth, but what they're doing is actually illegal. You can get hit with serious penalties, even prison time, for damaging the country's currency under Thailand's Currency Act. So what you're looking at is this massively popular idea, something people are so sure about, that's totally false and has some pretty serious real-world consequences.
And you know, that whole phenomenon acting super confident about something that's completely wrong, turns out that's not just a human thing. It's actually one of the biggest headaches in the world of artificial intelligence.
Yeah, in AI, we call this a hallucination. It's when a large language model, like a ChatGPT or a Gemini, just completely makes up an answer. It's false, it's misleading, it might be total nonsense, but it says it with the same confidence as if it's reading from an encyclopedia.
Now, what's really fascinating is that some researchers say, hey, don't call it lying. Lying implies it knows the truth and is trying to deceive you. They use a much more direct term, pulled from the philosopher Harry Frankfurt. They call it bullshit. The idea is that the AI is simply indifferent to the truth. Its main job is to give you an answer that sounds right. Whether it is right, that's almost beside the point.
Okay, so how does this even happen? Why would this super advanced piece of tech just make stuff up? Well, to figure that out, we got to peek under the hood at how these huge models actually work.
So, most of the big AIs you hear about today, they're built on something called a transformer architecture. And here's the most important thing you need to get. They don't understand things the way you and I do. They're just incredibly good at matching patterns. After crunching trillions of words, they just learn the statistical chance of what word is most likely to come next. They're prediction machines, not thinking machines.
Right. So, because its whole reason for being is to predict the next word and finish whatever you started, it's basically programmed to be a creative gap filler. If it doesn't know the real answer to your question, it doesn't just stop. Its programming kind of pushes it to guess, to just string together a plausible-sounding sentence to fill that gap. And that's how you end up with these totally made up, but often very convincing answers.
The other huge piece of the puzzle is the data itself. The digital stuff these models are fed. If an AI is trained on data that reflects historical biases, its answers are going to reflect them too. Let's say you train a hiring AI on decades of resumes from an industry that's always been dominated by men. What does it learn? It learns that words associated with men are statistically more likely to show up on a good resume, and it'll start favoring those candidates, even if it's not told to.
And as you can see, this problem isn't simple. Bias can sneak in all sorts of ways. You've got historical bias, where old prejudices are just baked right into the data. You have sampling bias, where the data just doesn't represent the real world. Or even reporting bias. Think about online reviews. People are way more likely to leave a 1-star or a 5-star review than a 3-star one, right? That totally skews the model's perception of reality.
And this is where it gets serious. This isn't just some funny glitch or a technical quirk. These hallucinations are having major, real-world impacts, like right now.
So there was this case in 2023 that got a ton of attention. A lawyer actually submitted a legal brief to a judge that cited 6 court cases that were completely fake. The quotes, the citations, all of it was just invented by ChatGPT. And as you can probably guess, the judge was not happy. It really throws a spotlight on the huge reliability problems when you use these tools for something so important.
And this isn't an isolated incident. I mean, from the second ChatGPT came out, people were finding it just made up facts. It's led to some serious legal messes, like when Air Canada was legally forced by a tribunal to honor a bereavement fare policy that was completely made up by its own support chatbot. And then some of these hallucinations are just out there. To see how far it would go, a user fed a model this totally false idea that churros were useful for surgery. Now, instead of just saying that's not true, the AI doubled down. It made up a fake scientific study claiming that, yeah, the fried dough's pliability and calming flavor made it perfect for medical stuff. It's funny, for sure, but it's also kind of scary how confidently it can build a fantasy on a shaky foundation.
And look, this isn't some rare one-in-a-million glitch. One analysis from 2023 found that a wild 46%, almost half, of text generated by these models had factual errors. This is a core challenge that's just baked into how they work.
Okay, so if these things are so likely to just invent stuff, what are the developers doing to fix it? And here's a twist. Could there actually be an upside to all this AI creativity? It really helps to think of hallucination like a coin with two sides. On one side, yeah, you have all the problems we've been talking about: misinformation, bias, and legal trouble. But on the other side, some researchers are actually taking this tendency to invent and using it as this incredibly powerful tool for creativity and even scientific breakthroughs. So to tackle the bad side, developers are using a whole bunch of strategies. They're trying to clean up the data they train on, and they're using humans to give feedback and teach the model what a good answer actually looks like. They're also building in what they call guardrails, like a system called RAG, which basically forces the AI to check its answer against a database of real verified documents before it spits it out. It's like a built-in fact checker.
But now for that upside I mentioned. When you can control it, hallucination can become innovation. And get this, part of the work that led to a 2024 Nobel Prize involved researchers using AI's hallucinatory ability to design over 10 million brand new proteins that have never existed before in nature. I mean, this is opening up whole new worlds for new medicines and materials.
And it's not just in biology either. Over at Caltech, researchers basically taught an AI physics and then let its creative, hallucinatory side run wild to design a completely new type of catheter. It has these tiny sawtooth-like walls that stop bacteria from growing. We're talking about a design that could solve a massive problem in hospitals worldwide, and the AI came up with it in a tiny fraction of the time it would take a team of humans.
So, all of this leaves us with a really big, fascinating question. AI hallucination isn't just a bug that needs to be squashed. It's a fundamental part of how these things think. It's a source of both immense risk and unbelievable potential. So the real challenge for all of us isn't just getting rid of the lies, but learning how to use the creativity and having the wisdom to know when to trust which one. Thanks for watching.